Do you know, you don't need thousands of subscribers to have a profitable and successful online business. You don't need hundreds of subscribers to have this profitable and lifestyle business. And you don't need even tens of subscribers. You just need to speak to one subscriber, one particular subscriber to build an online business, or a particular viewer who is going to watch your content. I'm going to share with you exactly who that is right now. And then I'm going to take you behind the scenes and show you in a discovery call of mine with a gentleman called Carlos, how we mapped out his business very, very quickly in like a matter of, I think about 5 or 10 minutes. And I'm going to take you behind the scenes so you can see how simple it is and how all this guru bullshit, if you like, is bogging you down and is getting in your head, because we all have that, don't we? You know, if you've got in your head over how to build this online business, how to escape the 9 to 5, how to make YouTube easier for you, then please let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. But this video is designed to show you exactly through my experience, knowledge, wisdom, expertise, walking that talk for the last 12 years, that you don't need all of this that everyone is telling you. I want to make it easier for you. When I launched my YouTube channel, I think it was about 18 months ago, this one, I made a video called how to make content in 2 minutes a day, how to make videos in 2 minutes a day, how to get over the fear of video. And it was called Content Secret. The thumbnail said Content Secret. And I was doing this on the front of it. And that was my first video. Why? Because it is the one thing that I was really, really good at, that I knew I could provide a transformation in, that I'd failed in myself, you know, struggling to get on camera, but I had a failure. I then went through a transformation and I had a success. And that was camera confidence. I knew years ago that I needed to be making videos, and I've been doing it now for the best part of over a decade. Again, not sharing this to brag or to impress you, but to impress upon you that you have something in your, I don't want to use the word closet, but you have something in your backpack or up your sleeve that can get, that you've been through, that was, you know, was a struggle for you before, and then you went through this transformation and you had a success, you had an outcome. That is your first video. And when I did that with my first video, I put a link in there to a product that I had, and it was the Courage Before Confidence training. And I had an upsell to my social media masterclass, because I've run a social media agency for the best part of 12 years. And then I think we had like a script template in there as an order bump. But it were all the things that, it was the next natural piece of progression that someone who is, okay, I want to be comfortable on camera. Next thing, after they've done that, they're going to need a script formula so they can put their information into a script and follow that so they can make good videos. And then they're going to want to put that and disseminate it across social media. So the social media masterclass would make sense. So it was the next logical steps. It wasn't just upselling for the sake of upselling, next logical steps. That turned into $400 sale. And I was like, wow, okay, the world of YouTube works. And I had then, I think it was about 20, 30 subscribers. Someone came along, watched the video. I think in the first year, it only got about 400 to 500 views. But then started the wave of, okay, now I've got proof of concept. Now I've got people who have a problem. And I had some idea of this because of my life within social media, but you've got knowledge, wisdom, skills, and expertise where you know people's problems. You know that one viewer, you know that one subscriber, because you know who it is? It's you. It's the previous you. I'm only teaching the people who are earlier on the path that I'm on. So now I'm helping people build out their personal brand through YouTube. I'm not helping them build a massive YouTube channel. I'm helping them build their personal brand, leveraging the power of YouTube, turn it into an online business. Why? Because that's the knowledge, wisdom, skills, and expertise that I have, and I've done for myself, and I've done for clients. And I've got to this point through doing something else first, which was building a profitable, successful social media agency, running people's social media like TEDx, and working with partners in the United Nations, and working with small to medium-sized businesses, and giving them a transformation and really elevating their online presence. If you create content on failures, transformations, and successes around frequently and common asked questions that you get asked, then you can build out your YouTube channel, your online business, your personal brand, and position yourself through that. I want to show you now how I help Carlos in literally a 20-minute discovery call map out his entire business. And he came away with like just mind blown, so that you can model it. You can start today, because we're going to make YouTube easier. We're going to make building an online business easier, making your personal brand easier, making you pivot from the 9 to 5 and escaping all of that tomfoolery in corporate. We're going to make it easier for you. You're going to go away today with a strategy. So check out this clip here from my discovery call, and I will see you at the end. The coaching space, they're working one-to-one, but we want to maybe create a hybrid and look at what that offline business looks like online. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So when I teach people how to build an online business, okay, there are two core things that we look at. Firstly, we need what we call a traffic source to bring people to our landing page, our website, or our community, or our quiz, or our lead magnet, all of those things. So we need a traffic source. And what happens is most people start in the middle, saying, I need to build the business, and I need to I need a website, all that stuff. And they basically, on a scale of 1 to 10, most people start in the middle and don't do the foundations. To get your traffic source and the right traffic source, we need to get the right foundations. So I teach people to build a personal brand in align with purpose. You might be familiar with a process called Ikigai, which is a Japanese philosophy of life. And in summary, in a nutshell, we identify 4 things: what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at. A really great example of this from a big entrepreneur is Richard Branson. Okay. Richard Branson, think about what he loved. He loved travel. What he felt the world needed was more support, giving back to people. But what he could be paid for was Virgin Airways and Virgin Holidays and Virgin Rail. But they were all linked to what he loved, which is travel. And what he's good at is bringing people together and creating businesses and creating opportunities through his philanthropy and his entrepreneurship and his mind and everything else. So therefore, he brings people to his island on Necker Island, and he would coach and work with them, and then the cycle continues. Another example would be me. What I love is communicating. So I communicate through content. And then what the world needs, I believe, is community. And then what I'm good at, what I can be paid for, is building this online ecosystem of product, which is what I'm going to show you in a minute. And what I'm good at is actually creating a sales environment so that people can learn how to sell their products and services. So like you said, the offer that you struggle with creating, I teach people how to build an offer and sell that without it feeling like a sales conversation.
Right.
So your first bit of homework would be go online, grab the Ikigai diagram, identify what you love, what the world needs from your perspective, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at. What I want to give you right now is some options on what you can be paid for and what that looks like. Is that okay?
Yeah, I mean, I actually did that. I've got my Ikigai right here.
Beautiful.
But yeah, I'd like to hear your takes on it, maybe.
So let me grab the whiteboard and explain a very, very simple process which I've been teaching people for many, many years.
Love it.
And I think it will help you. We talked earlier about the traffic source, okay? And I like to use video. What works right now and where you found me is YouTube, and it's a very good place to position yourself. So we're making YouTube content, so we'll put the red one there.
I'm sorry, can you move the board like a little bit? Yeah, that's perfect.
Right, we're there, we're good. Okay, so we've got our traffic source, which is YouTube, because it creates an organic stream of people to our videos based on if we're answering questions based on the problems they've got. Really simple processes, answering frequently asked questions around, when you think about, we talked about your Ikigai. If you create this here, and in the middle is your Ikigai, once you know what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at, then you now have 4 different content pillars that you can make videos on. And then your content becomes much simpler. So I just wanted to add that piece in.
Nice.
So if we've got the content nailed based on the 4 pillars, now we need to bring people somewhere and offer them something. And you mentioned
Right.
earlier your biggest challenge was the proposal, if you will.
Right.
Well, a way of getting away from the proposal and just creating some nice solid offers is creating a customer journey. Okay. I create a customer journey because most people don't. Okay.
Mhm.
The customer journey is a bit old school because you'll hear on the internet, have one product, have one offer and just sell that. Well,
Mm.
that's all well and good, but you might find when you're starting out that your audience can't afford that. You know,
Mm.
if that's a high ticket product, maybe, you know, it's what I call the North Star. And that's like,
Right.
if that's 5K, well, that's out of a lot of people's reach, isn't it?
Mm.
Especially when they
Right.
first meet you, and especially in the current economic climate. Now, people will
Mm.
say they're going to pay for change and this, that, and the other. I don't like that because we're not able to serve the people we want to serve and that need serving. So if we create a customer journey, they can have, like you mentioned earlier, small transformations along the way, and they're therefore impacting a bigger transformation. So what we build is we build out a system, and systems are what's going to generate cash for you. It's going to generate the lifestyle for you. I'm all about building a lifestyle business, a
Mhm.
stress-free lifestyle business around the
Right.
things that you need to create. So for me, for example, I have a health condition and my wife is registered disabled. So we need to build a business around us both and our family that works for our family. Otherwise, I've just got a job and nobody wants a job.
Right.
So this traffic source is going to bring us to what I call and is in the world as a value ladder.
Mm.
One, one, two, three, for we're for 4. So in my value ladder, I have actually we'll give it a 5th step. There is a gift. Now my gift is my personal brand playbook. So if you were to create a gift, and the way to do that is to base it on a video that's performing well. So you start
Mm.
creating content around those 4 pillars, and then you create a gift for your audience based on a video that's performing well, because you know that your audience want it because they're watching the
Mm.
video and it makes
Right.
sense. The next piece is what we call an awareness product. It's building awareness around who you are and what you do, but usually takes people through one small transformation. And when I say small, it's small in relation to your business, but it could be
Mm.
big for them. So, for
Mm.
example, I have my Courage Before Confidence video program. So it takes people through a transformation over 30 days. They go from not making a video to being comfortable and confident on camera and can press record in a
Mhm.
heart. And that's at a price point of $99. And that
Mhm.
is sells automated from my video. So that's the first point. The only points that people ever get to purchase or acquire something from me is either the gift or the low level product.
Mm.
Now, what most people, you know, these gurus don't teach you is that literally, if you wanted to, you could create a business just on that. Because if you
Mm.
drive, offer the free gift in your videos, put the link in the description to this product, and direct people to your resources in the link in the description, you could create videos and that could be your business.
Mm.
Currently, I'm selling my $100 product somewhere between, depend on a good week, it's 3 to 4 a week. On a bad week, it's sorry, 3 to 4 a day, and on a bad
Mhm.
week, it might be 1 or 2 a day. So this, on average, is bringing me approximately $10,000 a month.
Right.
So you can build a business just doing that. However,
Mm.
there's quite a bit of risk and uncertainty because if for some reason your video doesn't perform well, or YouTube just doesn't show it to people, or you know, so you have to build an ecosystem of consistent cadence of videos, 1 or 2 a week, driving to the same piece. However,
Mm.
you, like me, have got skills and we will want to help people more. So that's just phase one of our business. We'll call that phase one. So the next piece is what we call your leverage product. If you're anything like me, human beings are the fuel to my business. So what I do is I personally offer a one-to-one session here. Okay, $300-400 for a period of time with me that gets people a strategy and a transformation and action steps. Now, most gurus will say, don't do that. They'll say, don't do that. You shouldn't do that because all you're doing is exchanging time for money. Depends how big you want this business to go. And I see value in exchanging time for money because when I'm working with people on a one-to-one, I can gain so much human data. It can feed my videos. I can make videos about all of the problems in the one-to-one. And because I give so much value in there and they get so much from me, they want to work with me again.
Wow.
They might not be ready because they've things to do. They might not have the budget, but in the future, they've got things to do. And here, at this point here, they become an advocate of mine. They start telling people about me. And because the way the internet is kind of built, when you're creating YouTube videos, giving a gift, selling a product and showing up for people, get this air of almost fame. When people see you on a call like we're doing now, they're excited that they get to speak to you. They're excited that they get to have a conversation with you. So if you implemented this into your business, okay, and say it was a $400 call and you did just one a week, you had the capacity for one a week. What you've now created is another $2,400 in your business for having fun with people. Your business becomes fun and transformative. And what happens is these people who buy over here will be led into this here and encouraged to book a call with you because you'll invite them in your product. So now you've got money to cover the bills, and now all this money over here is just growing the business. And then the next step is we go to what we call our core product. And that can look like anything you want it to be. That could be an online course. It could be a coaching program. It could be a group coaching program. It could be a hybrid of both. It could be a retreat. You could run a retreat, based on what you do with the Reiki and the therapies. You might go, that's going to be a retreat. The great thing is what I teach is that you can make this anything you want to be. And I teach you that because I've done it myself. We've run day and weekend retreats and 3-day events on and offline. And we've done courses and created courses and all of that stuff. I've just chosen a model now that works for me. And then if you want to go up here to the scale piece, because let's just look at this section before we do go to scale. If you come in here, now you've got another phase of your business. And each one is feeding into the next. Just making sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. So we've got revenue. We've given some proof here. This is who we are, and this is what we're all about. We've created some revenue, and that runs on autopilot. We've offered ourselves one-to-one, but obviously it's limited time because you don't want to give all of your time away. But you've made some revenue that you can live off, and this can build the business. You introduce all of these people into the core program, which could be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, whatever you want to charge. But all of these people, because they've invested in you already, are more likely to invest again over here in the core program. And then once you're getting these people here, the transformations in the core program, and you invite them into your higher ticket program, which is a mastermind or purpose one-to-one on a regular basis. And now you have a customer journey, a product ecosystem. I know it looks a bit messy, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a recording of the call, and the AI will break all of this down for you. But essentially, just remove this for a second. To make it a little bit simpler for you, you now have a traffic source. Okay. You've got a gift, which goes here. That's the freebie. That's the people to show them how good you are at what you do. And you want to make that exceptional. You know, if it's going to be an ebook or a guide or even a micro course, make that exceptional. And there's a reason being, and Alex Harmoza, the entrepreneur, talks about this. Make your free stuff the best you can make it, because based on the numbers, most people won't see the paid stuff along the way. But this stuff will get people talking about you. So this is the gift. The next step, hang on, let's draw a better arrow on that. But for the purpose of the video, we want a better arrow. Then we've got your 99, and that can be sold on autopilot. Now you can price that whatever you want, but I just think that's a nice sweet spot. It gives you a nice piece of revenue over time. It builds up, and people feel like they will do the work and take the action because they've paid some money, and that can go on autopilot through your traffic source. Then you've got the one-to-one, for example, which is, you know, mine is $397 for 90 minutes with me. And then you've got the core program, and that can be your course, your online course, your group coaching program. But now you have a system, and every time someone gives your gift, someone gets your gift here, you introduce them to the next step. And then when they've purchased that, or at least they've been introduced, you then introduce them to the next step. Once they've come into here, then you introduce them to the next step. The reason most people aren't doing this right now is because the world lacks patience. They want to go from here straight to here. And I understand that. They lack patience. They want to build a big business quick. The problem with doing this, they don't understand the mistakes and the fundamentals and the flaws of business. Greed kicks in. Fear kicks in. And then, most importantly, from a business perspective, they leave all of this money on the table. Connection. If you work with people over time and they love what you do, they will spend more money with you. So now you have the framework, you have a strategy, you have a plan, and you've got to get to it. And if you want to know how to accelerate that, well, YouTube's got something for you, and they're telling you to watch this video because that's the one that they want you to watch next. Take care, much love, Big Daddy out.